arrived in Las Palmas de Gran Canaria because I thought that sounds so exotic, I want to go there. I was staying in a shared house and not in a co-living, and I was looking to meet people. And I heard of this meetup called Coffees and Co-working. It was organized by the couple on the left in the back, Voja Marina, Polish-Spanish couple, and I loved the concept. Because when I was living in Cambodia, there were no co-workings. So I was working from the equivalent of a Starbucks, because there was also no Starbucks. And I loved it. I loved the balance of working and meeting people and get connected. But of course, like digital nomads do, they tend to leave. And I already fallen in love with this place. Like 2 weeks in and I was hooked. I loved it here. I thought, why would I leave? Why would I go anywhere else? This is such an amazing island. So Voja Marina asked me, hey Nelly, we don't want this meetup to stop. You come every single week since you found us, so we think you should take over. And I thought, no. I don't want to be that person. I don't want to have to come every week. I don't want people to know my name. I don't want them to recognize me. I don't want to do this. But if I don't, who's going to do it? You know? No one. So I did it. And it turned out that I loved it. It was such a nice thing to make people feel welcome on this island. Because yes, there were co-workings, there were co-livings, but I was not in any of those. So how was I supposed to find people? And with me, many others. So I realized I need to do more than just coffees and co-working. We need to have fun. So in 2019, I organized the first social meetup for our community. I really think this is even the first or second meetup that we ever had at Toma Pani Moja on the Paseo. And it was awesome. On the picture, you don't see it, but I think we were like 50, 60 people. And it was just supposed to be a one-off. And people said, are you going to repeat this? And I thought, well, I guess I have no choice. Like, there's so many people. There's such a big need to do this. So I thought, whatever. I'm going to do this every week. So every Wednesday, I dedicated my day off. I work part-time to the community. Coffees and co-working, followed by burgers and beers, followed by karaoke. It was awesome. I don't know, some people here have been to those meetups. It was a blast. We went to Malasaña, we socialized there, and at 11 p.m. I tapped everyone's shoulders. I said, we're going to go to Imaginario, we're going to do karaoke. And people said, why karaoke? I said, because I love karaoke and it's my party, so we're going to go to karaoke. And it worked. And we had a blast. Until March 2022. Everything went well, and then this happened. This is the first day of lockdown in Spain. I decided to be here. Nacho reached out to me, said, Nelly, you have this thing with these digital nomads. Let's team up and try to connect people online. And so we did. I took a screenshot. This is it. Day 1 of lockdown. I took it a bit further because I was living alone at the time. And I knew with me many others. Some people had just arrived to the island and they didn't know anyone. They still wanted to have a good time here. So I reached out to my network. And I said, hey, Belinda, you're a coach. We need to stay sane. Like, can you join us for like a mental health session? I reached out to a yoga instructor. Can you do some online yoga? I reached out to my friend Verity, who actually was not my friend yet at the time, to do some like creative session. And so we had this whole schedule of staying connected, because that's what I learned that I really missed during COVID. I missed connecting people, and I guess that's why I was doing what I was doing. And the community grew. When lockdown was over, I picked up the meetups again, which was special. I still remember our first meetup, and it was honestly heartbreaking to meet people that have been locked up here for 1-2 months, didn't meet a single soul. And then they came to this bar, and they were so happy, like, oh, I'm not alone here. And it was beautiful, but we also had very limited capacity. And we would start, I think this meetup started at maybe 5 p.m. because, you know, we had a curfew, so we started early. And sometimes before we started, the terrace would be full. So I thought, I need to be able to communicate to people. Let's start a WhatsApp group. I hate WhatsApp groups because it's a mess. Because the first person would say, hey, I want to play volleyball. The next person wants to go for lunch. The third person saw a cute kitty on the beach. That volleyball would never happen because it was such a mess. So I thought, we need to do this better. Let's open Slack. It was called Remote Workers LPA because already at the time I thought, it's not just digital nomads, but yeah, the screenshot, I sent it to my friends, is this fine? And then I started asking my friends, if you're going to the beach, you don't mind some strangers tagging along, can you write it in Slack, please? So, you know, there's other people that also want to meet people. So please write there. And it seemed to work. it seemed to work so well that other people started to open Slack groups. And I met someone who said, oh, but it's terrible. And I'm like, I was a bit offended. It's like, hey, this is my baby. Like, what do you mean it's terrible? And it turned out there was a different Slack group. So I thought, I need to give it a name. And I came up with the name Live It Up Las Palmas, because it just rolls off the tongue very nice. It should be Live It Up Gran Canaria, but it just doesn't have the same sound to it. I'm sorry. And this is the meaning: to spend one's time in an extremely enjoyable way, typically by being extravagant or engaging in an exciting social life. We are a lot more than that. We are a source of information for everything, but I think at the time, social life was definitely a thing. So people started to speak about this. The community grew even more, and I started moving the meetup to a new bar because Imaginario was simply too small. This is a photo, I think, from last winter. Everyone you see here is from our community. Inside, there's like 100 more people. It's madness. I started to work on a website because people needed to find our community. I made an Instagram because people asked me for an Instagram. And I actually really like it. You should check it out. I'll share the link later. And I started to do events, a rooftop event here, brought back to coffees and co-working, and I was exhausted. Because this was all just a hobby. I was spending 20, 30 hours a week on this community next to my job. I don't know why. People ask me many times, why are you doing this? And I'm like, I don't know. I don't know. But I need to change something because it was too much. I had my boyfriend by then, my work, my everything. And I think sometimes we need a crisis, like COVID or something smaller, a family emergency. Everything is fine now. But it made me, okay, I could take a distance from the community. And for 2 weeks, I was outside of Slack and I learned, it's going well. I mean, we had 5,000 members. But I still thought, I need to ask my friends, write in Slack, please, even though it was already working. And then I thought, okay, I don't want to do events. It's terrible. It's so stressful. I think Nacho and Zhao can confirm. It's stressful. It's a lot of work. Also Gonzalo. Like, what? It's not me. I'm not an event organizer. I'm a community manager all of a sudden. I don't think I ever knew what I was doing. Other people knew it before me. And I thought, this is what I want to do. I want to connect people. That's what I want to do. I don't care about events. Other people can do the events, you know. I do social meetups to meet people. But if you want to go party, go to somewhere else. And I'm very happy there's a lot of people in the community who do that. They take initiative. They see the platform as a way to reach out to people. So I decided to work more on partnerships. Because I have this bunch of people on Slack that are very active. They are looking for a local hairdresser. They do need to find this vegan restaurant. So I tried to connect the local companies that are looking for these remote workers to connect them, but still in an organic, natural way, because I also believe that's why everything has worked so well. But I'm drifting off because I was speaking about a secret ingredient. Maybe I already not explained. Maybe it's already oozing through my whole talk a bit. That's not it. That's not it. That's what I thought it was for a while. I even said to people who couldn't make it today, it's empathy. You know, I'm an empath. I really care. That's it. The feeling of awareness toward other people's emotions and an attempt to understand how they feel. Because I know what it's like. I traveled for years, and every time you have to start over. It's not just the packing your bag or the making the trip. It's hard. We always think it's awesome being a digital nomad. You go everywhere. But I think we tend to forget about the first days, the first weeks when you have to start from scratch, and it sucks. It really sucks. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it sucks. I don't want to take that away. I think in 2021 was the first time I realized I want to make this platform the main place to be for you to have a good time, and that's called compassion, because that's an emotional response to empathy or sympathy and creates a desire to help. And that's what it is. I just really want to help people. I guess that's it. I never knew. And last week at the Unconference, we actually found another secret ingredient, and that's that you just need a crazy person with too much time on her hand. But the result is this. You know, I've been doing this for 3.5 years. I was losing money on it. I lost a shit ton of time on it, but I love doing it because this is what you get. When I ask people, what does this community mean to you? And you get this, can't put a price on that. To know that this community has such an impact on people's lives, that they make friends for life, that they have experiences that they will never forget is priceless. It's Yeah, it's awesome. You can find my website, sign up on Slack or Instagram if you want to connect with this crazy person. Thank you.